Hello and welcome to HD Movie Talk. I'm your host, Dean, and as always, I'm here with my good friend and co host, Fluffy Duffy, aka Harlan. Hello, Harlan.
Hello.
Why? Okay, moving on. We are also joined by a very special guest today, our second guest ever. Go on, Harlan, do you want to introduce them?
His name is King Kallen on TikTok, or as we call him, Kallen.
Hello, everyone. Hello, world.
Welcome to the podcast studio. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Fairly mediocre day, but I'm sure this will make it a lot better.
It better.
The anticipation has been building.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Dean
Definitely.
was running late today. He was running on Britain time.
That would make me about 6 hours late, which is pretty.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So you're actually running a really ahead of schedule. So that's good
Yeah,
for you.
I'm holding a tight ship today. Anyway, so this series is called Guests Best, where we talk about our guests' favorite movie, and that is, as you probably already all seen, The Truman Show. But we're not going to start by talking about The Truman Show because that would be very conventional. Have you got a question for our guest, Harlan, just to break the
Yes, I
ice?
do. The starter question that I have for you, Callan, is how long have you been doing TikTok?
Well, I actually first got TikTok. I didn't upload anything, but I got it in November of 2018. So pretty much when it was around
Okay.
its peak. But I didn't start like editing videos until around on TikTok um, until around June or July of 2020.
Okay.
So yeah, almost a year now, or I think yeah, a year. So yeah.
So
Yeah.
this guy is a lot more of a seasoned and experienced TikToker than
Yes.
Harlan and I.
We talk about what you do, Callan, like your niche per se.
Well, I really do a lot of stuff, but mainly what I do is I just edit movie content, but I occasionally do gaming content as well as TV content. But I mean, I really just do whatever. Like I go with the flow. I don't really have like a um expected video that I have to make for like a certain category. I just really
Unlike
go
you,
with the flow.
Harlan.
Yeah. Wait. What did you say about me?
I'm
Was that
just
a dick?
saying you're like in your niche, aren't you, of fun facts?
Oh, yes,
You
I
have an
am.
expected video.
Yes. And I think what the content that Callan is different than me and Dean is me and Dean do a lot more talking to the camera, and his is a lot more skillful edits. Don't take that
Yeah.
too
So,
personally,
so the
Dean.
question I was going to ask you, Callan, is how long on average would you say it takes you to make a video?
Oh wow. I'd say it varies. I'd probably say the minimum time, unless it's like a really short video, the minimum time usually is like 2 hours. But I've had videos take up to 10 hours to edit, and that was just like a pain, and it's just horrible to do.
Do you usually like if a video takes 10 hours to do like the views complement that?
I'd say, yeah. Um, I'd say the worst feeling is just when you spend a lot of time on something and it just doesn't get rewarded with views or likes or whatever. But I mean, I've as I've been on TikTok more, I've kind of just been more accepting of TikTok. And I try not
Mm.
to expect a lot of like just to expect much. I just really just like say whatever because eventually I'll do have a video do good. So
It's just so
Right.
random how it works.
yeah, that's what I hate about it the most, just how random it is. I don't like it.
I need to get in that mindset. Sometimes I sometimes I like put like fun facts about like an actor, and I'm like, oh, everybody loves this person. This video is gonna do great, and then it's like doesn't
No, I
work.
definitely do that. I
Yeah.
come up with a series idea and I'm like, here's part one, and then it doesn't do well. And I'm like, well, may as well just quit TikTok.
Well, from what I've seen for like part series, like you do like part one, part two, part three, there is no telling which one's gonna blow up, but one
Exactly.
will, and
Yeah.
it's so frustrating. So you just have to
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah. So 2 to 10 hours is extremely long to me because I think my bare minimum is probably 90 seconds. And I think I can comfortably say out of the three of us here, I put the least effort into my posts. Normally, they're just an idea I would have come up with at some point during the day while doing something else. And I'm like, oh, I guess
Right.
I better make a TikTok.
See, that's those videos are like where like I find one with like a sound. I'm like, oh, this could be a fun video. Those are ones where like I don't even count those for making a video a day, just because like I barely have to put any effort. But like when I do like those fun fact videos, oh my god, when those don't get views, I get PO'd because it's like they take from like an hour to 2 hours, and I do them every single day.
Yeah.
So, oh my god.
That's why you've got to be like our veteran TikToker here, Kallen, and not care.
Yeah, I know. I need to get into that mindset, Dean. Anyways, so I got a question for you, Kellen.
Yeah.
So you've been doing TikTok for a while. So something had to start your addiction.
That's a statement, not a question.
Well, I didn't say the question yet, Dean. I didn't say the
Continue.
question yet. What video started it all? Jesus.
Oof. I had a couple of videos do fairly well, but I'd say the one that really like boosted like kind of my self-esteem and made me want to keep doing it was this stupid video that I did, which I think is kind of ironic that it was the one to blow up. It was one that took like 10 minutes to make. It's
Yeah.
this series that I did a while back that kind of made me known on Film Talk. It's movie lines that hit hard, and it's supposed to you expect it has a sad intro and then it plays a stupid clip right after it to catch people off
Oh,
guard, and it's
right.
really funny. I think I've done like 10 of them. I might return to it, but one of the I think part 3, yeah, got like 60,000 likes. I was like, oh my god, like this never happened to me before. So I just kept on making those videos. They were doing super well, and that's kind of what started it. Yeah, and then I kind of got known for that, and then yeah.
It's always the stupid videos. I don't know if I've
Yeah.
said this on the podcast before, but the first video of mine that did very well was a joke about Alan Rickman's death.
That is
It was
terrible.
The video was actors who I think could play the 14th Doctor, but it gets less and less likely as the video goes on. And the last person was Alan Rickman.
And was your reasoning because what he didn't
I
like
don't
Doctor
think he's
Who?
going to play the 14th Doctor because he's dead.
Oh my god.
Well, who
Anyway,
knows?
swiftly moving on. I did ask this question to Peyton, who was our first guest, but I think it's a pretty good question if I do say so myself.
Wow, a little bit full of yourself there, huh?
Just shut up. I might just
Okay.
at the end of this, I might ask Callan to start a podcast with me and just.
You know, I was about to text you that when you were running late. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna. You know what? Dean, we're just gonna start the podcast.
Okay. Before I was rudely interrupted, my question is, if you had to describe like your movie taste, what would it be? Like designing your perfect movie, what would like genre, elements, what kind of things do you look for?
That is a good question. Probably I'd say
Told you, Harlan.
um like what is my perfect, or if I could describe my movie taste and my perfect movie, I'd say I really enjoy watching movies that really just constantly put the main character in bad places, whether it's emotionally or physically. I don't know what's going on with my taste, but like I really like seeing main characters go through a lot of sad, depressing
Trauma.
stuff. Like
Yeah.
I really like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I mean, Truman Show, the one that we're
Yeah.
talking about, is
Yeah.
so depressing. I mean, Forrest Gump. I don't know. Yeah, I think just depressing movies, whether it's a drama, like a romantic movie, anything. I just like seeing characters go through a lot of stuff. And yeah, it's a weird answer. I'm sorry, but
No, I get what you mean.
yeah,
Definitely.
That's it.
No, just the way you say it, it sounds a little sadistic. You're like, hey, the kind of movies I like are the ones where horrible things happen to everyone in them. But yeah, I get where you're coming from.
I want to see people I love get extremely depressed.
Yeah.
That's your taste.
I mean, I'm writing a screenplay right now, which is just like the main character is just like being torn apart. Like,
That's
torn
what makes
apart.
things interesting. Like, have you ever? This is my favorite movie of all time. Have you ever seen Prisoners?
I have seen Prisoners.
Dean, have you seen Prisoners?
No, it's on my list because it's your favorite, and I feel like I need to support you.
Anyways, like that one, Hugh Jackman, his character goes through a lot, and I think that's why, I love those intense scenes, like the one where he's yelling at Jake Gyllenhaal in the car or whatever. Dean, if you
Where's
haven't
my
seen it-
daughter?
yeah,
Yeah, I've seen that.
so good.
Yes. Okay, any more questions?
I don't think so. I think we can.
I have one question, and this is for everyone here. This isn't just for Callum. This is also for me, but I'll answer it last. Is Jim Carrey thoughts? Question mark.
Oh, that was one of the. I have that question too. Okay, Callan, you can start because I my thoughts a little bit.
I think Jim Carrey is one of the most talented actors for multiple different genres. I think he's so overlooked, just in general for his acting ability. Because, I mean, in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, like he was just like perfect in that movie. I mean, in Truman Show, I mean, he's just amazing. His range is insane. Like you know him for playing stupid characters and like Dumb and Dumber and The Grinch, but like you should take a second and check out like Eternal Sunshine or Truman Show, and you'll see how talented he really is, and it's pretty insane.
He is extremely talented. However, the guy's a little crazy.
Oh
Not
no, he is crazy. No, he's crazy. He is crazy.
Not crazy, like sure, believe in like whatever you want to believe. He believes in like people are like, have you seen like the thing where like the Kimmel Show or whatever, and he was talking about how he was playing the character of Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Yeah, I kind of get where he's coming from.
Yeah.
He believes that if you want something, you have to go and stand in a field by yourself and think it into existence.
Well, I think that was definitely some what do you want to call it? Manifestation. That was definitely some manifestation talk.
He's just a weird fella.
And like with like those things, it's like, you know what, do your thing, whatever gets you out of bed in the morning. However, what cemented him as kind of a little crazy. Have you guys seen the Jim and Andy documentary?
I love Jim and Andy.
I haven't.
I was going to talk about that. It's so good.
You haven't seen that, Callan?
Nope.
Dude. Okay. You have to. It's on. Do you have Netflix?
Yeah.
You gotta watch it, man.
I put it on my watch list right now.
Okay, so basically, can I explain what this is?
Yeah, go for it.
I'll start talking about Jim Carrey because he is my favorite actor of all time, and that's not like personality wise, because I understand that he is a bit of a nutcase, but like just talent wise, he is my favorite actor of all time, and he's got some of my favorite movies ever. The Truman Show being the best of all his movies, in my opinion. But basically, Man on the Moon is basically his most underrated movie, in my opinion, where he plays the comedian Andy Kaufman, who was a bit of a nutcase himself, perhaps more so than Jim Carrey. But Jim Carrey went full on method when he played Andy Kaufman and walked around set acting like this actor. But the thing is, this actor is dead, and his actual family would come onto set and have conversations with Jim Carrey as if he is Andy Kaufman, and it's just bananas.
In the documentary, he claims that Andy Kaufman's ghost took hold of him, like he wasn't in control. Like that's how, this is not full on method. This is like, you took method way too literally. Like it's like he was like, people were complaining about him. Like he became more of a nuisance.
Yeah, at least it's not like Jared Leto bad.
What did Jared Leto do?
Playing the Joker,
okay.
Here's the thing. Technically speaking, Jared Leto sent a used condom to one of his co-stars.
And dead rats.
Wait. What? What are you talking about?
Going over that, I think perhaps, Jared Leto did over that Oliver Mail. I think Jim Carrey was worse.
I feel like we missed a step.
Jim Carrey would gift his co-stars on Suicide Squad dead rats and
Jared Leto,
used
said
condoms.
Jim Carrey.
Oh, Jim Carrey didn't do that to my knowledge, and he didn't appear in Suicide Squad. Which meant that he should have been Polka Dot Man. That would be. But he sent dead rats and used condoms to various co-stars of his. Which can we just talk about the
Wait,
logistics of this?
The used ones were from him?
Yeah, this is what I mean. The logistics of this.
Maybe.
Obviously, Jared Leto. I don't like Jared Leto as a man. He's fine as an actor, but like, surely he's getting his assistant to do this for him because he's a Hollywood A-lister. And is he going to his assistant? Oh, go get me some used condoms, or is he like, here are some used condoms? I want to know the full semantics of this conversation he had with whoever it was that posted them for him. How did this conversation go?
You know, I think we've been talking about it too long and it's cementing in my brain. So I think we need to move on before I realize what actually happened.
Yeah. What are we talking about now?
Jim
Sorry,
Carrey.
that was a weird
Jim Carrey
segue.
is actually one of my favorite actors too. Like growing up, like I probably have seen The Mask like 20 times.
Yeah, and also, even though like I'm not a massive fan of Dumb and Dumber as a movie, but Jim Carrey is just, his comedic ability is just amazing. Like the facial expressions and
Mhm.
the mannerisms and just the way his body moves and the way his face moves is just unlike anyone else.
Yeah.
Despite a lot of those movies being pretty crap.
A lot of those movies. What are you trying to say?
I don't know. This is off topic, but it occurred to me today that in the same year, Jim Carrey released Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber, and all three
What?
of those movies got
1994, baby.
all three of those movies got a prequel without Jim Carrey in. Because you have The Son of the Mask.
No, that's wrong.
That's
wrong.
a sequel, isn't it? It's The Son of a Mask.
Yeah, get your facts straight, man.
Yeah, come on, dude.
Well, they're all they all have adaptations with a younger version and no Jim Carrey. And they had Dumb and Dumberer when Harry met Lloyd, and then they had
I haven't seen that.
Ace Ventura Jr. or something like that.
Well, Ace Ventura had an Ace Ventura 2 and then a spin-off.
Yeah.
Dumb and Dumber had a spin-off and then Dumb and Dumber had a cartoon and then it had a spin-off
And then
it had a sequel.
I prefer the sequel to the original.
Anyway, where were we?
The Truman Show.
Yeah, the Truman Show. Let's get to
So I wasn't planning on rewatching it, but I was free this afternoon, despite being late to this, as we've already said.
That's what you were doing. You're like, guys, I'm gonna be like an hour late. I got.
No, this was before. This was hours before. But this was probably while you boys were still asleep. I apologize for calling you boys. That was weird.
Yeah,
I
we're all boys
rewatched
here.
The Truman Show, and on my rewatch of The Truman Show, I decided to promote it to my second favorite movie ever.
What was that before?
It was Spider-Verse.
Where was
that
Truman
was-
Show?
It's third.
Oh, okay.
You got
So-
great taste.
Thanks. But it slipped up a space now, and I did a series not that long ago where I said this is every movie which I consider perfect, and there was 8 of them, and The Truman Show was on it. And then I was watching The Truman Show this time, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna find something wrong with this movie so I can complain about it, and I couldn't. Honestly, I didn't have anything to complain about.
I'm trying to think of things I didn't like. I can't, like, I'm trying to think of something. I don't think I can think of anything. Honestly, it's perfect.
Anyone
Yeah.
have a least favorite thing about The Truman Show?
That it wasn't longer. I wanted to see more of it, man.
Yeah,
So
so
good.
there are certain ideas where I have, and people commented suggestions, and I don't think any of them were actual improvements. People said, oh, they should have had the narrative go on for longer with the audience not knowing that he was in a TV show. But I think I disagree with that.
I think if anything, the whole the love interest where she doesn't really say anything, but she's wanting Truman to get out. I feel like although it's good the way it is, maybe could have used a little bit more. But that's so I have a microscope on something
Yeah.
and I'm trying to nitpick it. But I mean it's
Yeah, I think there are just there's no massive issues about like like the aspects of filming, like writing, like cinematography. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with any of that. I think there's just small inconsistencies in the movie. Like when they were searching for Truman, I don't know why they were all going all together, because Truman saw that. Like, what would he think? Like, what was their game plan after that? But I mean, like, that's pretty much it. That
Yeah.
there's really nothing else.
If I was to like try and defend that point, it'd be like, well, from a movie standpoint, what's more effective?
And it's like
Yeah,
really cool visuals as well.
yeah. I agree
Okay,
with that.
guys, Callan, do you want to play a quick game where we put Harlan in an awkward situation?
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay, I have a 30-second timer here, Harlan, and you have until this is done to us as comprehensively explain the plot of this movie as you can. Okay?
Okay, tell me when you're starting the timer.
Okay, three. Sorry, I love being mean. 3, 2.
Wait, you started?
No, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so this movie stars Jim Carrey in this world where he's like the center of everything. Basically, he's in this. Okay, can you get the timer off the screen? Where basically he's like this television studio constructed this whole studio where it looks like a world, and there's cameras everywhere, and they're all focusing on Truman. And the concept is like this TV show is following Truman throughout his entire life, but he doesn't know it. So like, everything's scripted besides the things that he says. They made it they made it so that like he doesn't want to swim because a tragic accident happened when he would go to swim, and so that he couldn't escape. But then the whole plot of the movie is he starts to get suspicious.
The timer ended like 30 seconds ago.
I think I did okay.
No, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure most people know the plot of this movie. It is a classic.
I think this is a hot take. I think whatever you want to call it, plot premise, I think it's the best plot of all time, in my opinion. And I think I'll
I
stand by that.
I can get behind that because a lot of movies which I love are like heavily inspired by this, or they're based off this movie from the 50s, or they're a sequel to this. But this is just completely unique and like completely making like there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe I wouldn't go by story of all time, but I would definitely say most creative. Like
Yeah.
everything that they, if I was making a movie about this, I'm like, oh, it would have to have like this in it, and it does. You know what I mean? Like everything I'm like everything I can think of that would be cool in a movie like this is in this movie.
Yeah, and like yeah, because you've got to think this movie was also made before the age of reality TV, and now
Right.
we're in an age where just everything is being filmed and everything like that. It just works so much better. It
I
like
think
predicted the future in some ways.
this movie will age perfectly.
Yeah, if the Truman Show didn't exist, I bet you there would be a version of the Truman Show in the world right now.
Oh, definitely.
This is just significantly worse.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys, and I'm
Okay.
pretty sure you guys will say yes. After watching the Truman Show for the first time, did you ever think to yourself, what if I was in my own Truman Show? Like, what if my family were just paid actors and
Yeah.
everything around me was fake? Did you ever think that?
Yeah. I think that quite a bit to myself, and I will just like talk to myself sometimes as if I am being
If I just
watched.
like take a bar of soap and just go in the mirror and you're like,
No, I take some cocoa powder. I'm like, this is the best cocoa I've ever tasted. I've tasted all.
so
Yeah.
do
It's
you
a
have
real
you end up
thing.
in the institutional hospital?
No, you say that it's a real thing.
hospital.
It's called like, let me find the name of it. It's a real medical thing where people genuinely think they're in the Truman Show, and like psychologists have now studied this because people are like believing that they're like in their own show and stuff like that.
That's the definition of thinking that you're the main character.
Yeah.
That's like just main character energy.
Truman Burbank as main character energy. Okay, the question I was going to ask about this movie is because in the past, Harlan and I have discussed how your favorite movie is not only because like it's a good movie, but also it's like a much more of an emotional thing. So do you want to tell us about like your first experience with this movie and what you thought of it at the time and how you discovered it?
Well, I think I was just like surfing Amazon Prime because I just didn't know what to watch, and I was just like I wasn't into film at all. I think I was like 11 when I first saw it, and I saw it and I was just like, this is like really cool, like how they're making this, and just the idea of it. Like I said, like the plot, like it was super interesting to me, and I got really sad at some points because it's like I would think to myself like this is crazy. Like imagine your family being paid. They don't actually like love you. And then like your best friend is just lied to you your whole life. I was just like, that's messed up. You know,
Yeah.
my 11-year-old mind was like, it's not cool, man. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's not
as
like
I get
that's
older and I watch it, I just realize how even more messed up it is on so
yeah.
many levels.
See, like when I was like around like, well, the first Jim Carrey movie I ever saw was The Mask because my grandpa had it on Laserdisc.
Whoa.
Do you guys know what? Do you know what Laserdiscs are, Callan?
Yeah.
No.
So basically, they're like records, but for movies. There was something they were trying to do. So you had like this big movie player where it was like literally like a vinyl record that you put on, but it didn't play the movie. They didn't do very well because you don't see them anymore. But my grandpa had a bunch of them, so every time I would go and we watched The Mask, I went to his house, and so I became a huge Jim Carrey fan, and so I just went out and I tried to watch all of his movies that I could, and then the Truman Show was like the first like non-comedy one. I was like, this is boring, because like I was like 9 years old. I didn't like my prefrontal cortex was not that developed. Um, and like I think every time I rewatch it, it just gets better and better.
Yeah. Now as we're all sharing lovely anecdotes, I think this is the movie that got me into movies properly. Like
Yeah.
I've always watched a lot of movies, but I would never be like I would never be critical about them. I think we've discussed in the past how you when you get older it becomes easier to go, oh, this is a good movie and this is a bad movie. And I hadn't really reached that point. And then I watched this movie and I was just
Mm.
hooked the entire time. And I was like, how was this made? I just had so many questions about the writing and all that stuff. And I really think, and I watched it for the same reason that Harlan said he did, because I'm like, I like Jim Carrey. I want to see more of this fella. And then I watched this and I was like, I don't want to watch another movie ever again.
And I don't know if you noticed this, Callan, but well, you know that that used to be, oh my God, Dean's profile picture.
Did you forget my name?
I forgot your name.
It still is my video profile picture because you have two on
Oh,
TikTok a lot of the time.
yes, it's true. But it's also the background of our podcast too.
Oh, I
So
hadn't
The
I
logo
had that.
is the background of the logo.
Oh shoot,
yeah,
that's cool.
so we're big Truman's fans.
That's so cool.
We Harlan and I are gonna when they inevitably make the reboot, we're gonna audition for the old couple, the two old ladies that sit on the couch.
And I'll be the guy in the
Perfect.
bathtub.
Who's gonna be? Does anybody here know who Kyle Glass is?
No.
He's the guy who, like, when the TV went out, he picked up the book.
Oh yeah.
He was like, oh. That's Kyle Glass, and he's actually in a band with Jack Black.
Nice.
That's cool.
That's a good fact.
Yeah, there you go. I'm the fat guy.
That you are. At least you've got some uses. Okay. So
Oh.
next question about this movie is, what is your favorite thing about it? Oh, have fun.
Ooh. Or like the first thing that comes to mind when thinking about your favorite thing about it.
I think the ending is my favorite thing about it
Mm.
That is a
because
solid
I
answer.
think it's just so perfect. I still think it's the best ending of all time for just like anything in my opinion. Just because I mean I can explain it further, but like that would just take a long time.
Go
But
for it.
well, I think well, first of all, the
Do it.
visuals, the visuals of the scene itself are just like amazing. That's a small part of it. I think the music, the scores is
Oh, I
really
was
just
gonna bring this up.
perfect. The
Just
way
that.
it just
Yeah.
it elevates the scene like so much, and how Truman is just so defiant and how much he's changed, and you could tell in that scene. And the director guy, like he doesn't get what he expected from Truman, and just the way it's executed, the way he bows, how he walks out, and then the best thing about it, in my opinion, is how we don't see him again. We don't know what happens to him
Yeah.
because his whole
Right.
life, Truman was broadcasted his whole entire life, and the fact that we didn't see him after he left is just the most perfect thing ever because finally he's not being broadcasted, and
See,
it's
I
just
always think that. I always think that what happens once he leaves could be potentially more interesting than what happens in this movie. And that's not like a slight to this movie. And I think it shows such restraint. Number one, not to show us any of that in the movie, and then number two, not to make a sequel when it's like Truman trying to like adjust to the real world, because just the idea of him leaving and entering the real world is so fascinating to me.
I feel like it would have to be more like a crime movie than it. Like if there was to be a
It
Truman
would be
Show
very
sequel,
different.
I don't want it to be anything like the original. I feel like
hmm,
if it was a completely new thing, that would be like the most creative option they could do.
I
You know
get
what I
that.
mean?
Okay. Wait, Harlan, did you say your favorite thing? No, you didn't. Go on.
But my favorite thing about the movie, um, I really, really, really like the scene where Jim Carrey takes his wife out on a car in the car.
Yeah.
He's like laughing maniacally as he's like doing donuts on the street or whatever.
that's such a good scene.
That's like the most Jim Carrey esque,
Yeah.
or what like people had known of Jim Carrey in that movie. You know what I mean? Because I was like the most comedic part.
I get it's like the most he's acting like Jim Carrey acts.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
get that.
and it was really funny.
I'm really struggling to choose a favorite thing. I have a few ideas.
We gotta choose one, Dean.
Can I choose two?
Oh my god.
Okay,
Fine.
choose one. No, I'll choose one. It's the character of. No, it's not. If we're going broad, I've changed my mind on which favorite I'm choosing. It's
Look at this guy.
the cinematography,
Yeah.
because I think it's so clever how they do every shot where it seems like it's a hidden camera. And then something I noticed only on this rewatch is pretty much all the shots look like they're hidden cameras until they're on the boat and Truman finds the wall. When he gets on the boat, it's like camera angles that couldn't possibly exist within the world. And I
Yeah.
thought that was a very clever little detail that I never noticed before.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing to think about.
Are all the shots like hidden camera things?
I mean, I'd have to rewatch it, but it feels like they are, doesn't it?
No, there I can think of some shots like
Yeah.
when he's in the street, like stopping the cars, like
That's true.
there won't just be
I'll
a
give you that.
flying camera from above.
So what if my answer is to that there are shots which aren't in this form when it's him like discovering what the world is like?
I think it's a very valid choice. Yeah.
But it's just I feel like all the this movie was so carefully planned and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's like as if they were planning this TV show and Truman Burbank is real and can never find out.
It,
If that makes any sense as a sentence.
no, yeah, I get what you're saying. It's just you can tell how effective the movie is because of how much we relate to it today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's also like every bit about it is like, oh, this like might be able to actually happen given the circumstances. Like you could see this actually taking place in the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah. the question I would usually ask at this point is for a complaint, but I think we've already talked about that, and I can't think of any myself.
Yeah. It's just small nitpicks. Like that's all it is. Like the movie itself is so
Yeah.
good. It's just like,
And I feel like every mistake you can point out, there can always be someone who's like, well, that happened for this reason, to continue this part
Right.
of the narrative, or to like, because obviously there are things you could choose where it goes, oh, that doesn't seem very realistic.
Did you know actually, Jim Carrey almost wasn't in this movie?
Ooh,
He-
go on.
really?
They actually, I think he was filming Dumb and Dumber actually, and Jim Carrey wanted to be in the movie so bad, he asked if they could just like halt production for a year.
I did hear
So
that
he
the
could be in
script
it.
was written with him in mind, which I thought
Right.
was quite interesting.
And they did.
Was someone else gonna play him?
I don't think anybody was. I don't think it was like a Jake Gyllenhaal, Tobey Maguire situation. And I'm curious, like, who else do you think could play the role of Truman?
No
'Cause I
one.
can't think of anybody.
No
No
one.
one.
I don't think. I
Especially
can't
in
think
the
of anyone.
90s.
Maybe like Sam Rockwell.
Actually, no. You win this round. Okay, what I was going to say is that apparently the original idea of this movie was for Truman to be like a teenager, but because Jim Carrey was cast, they switched out the teen angst with a midlife crisis.
There you go.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see it in a school setting. I think that would be boring, like really boring.
Yeah.
I like where he goes into his job and sees the normal people every day. You know, the newspaper guy, like the guy walking with the dog, the crazy dog. When he's
The
going to work,
twins.
saying, you know, what does he say? Good afternoon, good evening, good night, right? Yeah, like that.
Honestly, I say that in my daily life quite a bit. That's got to be the movie quote I say the most. I just always go, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Dean, how would you say that in an Italian accent?
Mamma mia, in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and mamma mia, good night.
You sound like Count Dracula, like from
I want to
Sesame
suck your blood.
Street.
Man, you guys are just interesting. That's all I can say.
Sorry, we are contractually obligated to do 20 seconds of Italian accents every episode.
Got it.
We're 3
Nice.
for 3.
We're going 3 for 3. We can keep this up. Anyway,
That was
Italian
stupid.
people aside. Yes, what little comment do you have to make?
Are you talking to me? Are you
Yeah,
belittling my comment, Dean? No.
you didn't have a
So-
comment.
I was gonna bring up Dean. So you said, Kallen, you said you saw this movie on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And well, how would you're guessing 11?
Probably like 11 or 12.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Had you heard about this movie at all before then?
No, I was just so bored that day. I was just scrolling through Amazon. I'm like, what am I gonna watch? And then I saw Jim Carrey, and I saw like Dumb and Dumber at that point.
Right.
I think it might have been the only thing I saw him in. Or no, I saw Ace Ventura or whatever. But yeah, I just saw him. I'm like, all right, I might as well watch it because he's cool. And then I just loved it. It was
Dude,
so good.
sometimes those like little gems you find on Amazon or like Netflix or Hulu are like the best things ever. Like I remember I was just like looking for movies on Netflix and I saw Nightcrawler. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's the name of an X-Men. I'll
Isn't
watch
that that guy
movie.
from X-Men 2?
Yeah, that's what I just. So I downloaded it because I'm like, this has a name of an X-Men in it, and it was. Have you seen Nightcrawler, Dean?
I know what it's about.
I'm
so
I'm
no,
guessing
in
you have,
short.
Callan, right?
I have, yeah. It has
And
Jake
it's-
Gyllenhaal, so
Yeah,
I have to watch it.
it's so good. Oh
Isn't
my
that
god,
that guy who played Spider-Man?
is that the guy from the Battle Pass?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm
Um,
saying.
Swiftly moving on from that, Truman Show. The big thing I want to talk about was cinematography, music, but just to cheat the system and go back on the thing that was going to be my favorite until I changed my mind. It's the character of Christoph, which I love in this movie because I think there is such like intelligence to that performance, and the role he plays in the movie is so good.
It's the
And, like,
director, right?
yeah, and
Yeah.
he doesn't have that
Well,
much
the
dialogue.
person who plays the director, not the actual
Yeah.
director.
Well, yeah. Thanks for that.
Yeah, I got a little confused, so I was just.
and just he doesn't have many lines of dialogue, but I feel like you still completely understand him very quickly. And
Yeah.
like, he's not like a villain.
No, because he loves Truman, like almost like as
Yeah.
as a son.
He's not a villain, which I think would have been an easy route for this movie to go, when it's like, "Mwahaha, I'm going to keep you locked inside the dome, Truman." And I'm glad they didn't go in that direction, but it works.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That could have been so easy and totally like made the story significantly worse if they went that direction.
Yeah, but instead
That-
there's like you said, the gem of Christoph is at the end, when he goes something along the lines of, obviously I'm going to butcher the line, but he goes something along the lines of, there is just as much lying and acting outside as there is inside the dome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I think
Wait,
the
what-
line is there's like no much more truth in the real world than there is here or something along the
Yeah.
lines of that.
yeah. And a good job on that line, whoever wrote the scripts, you know.
Who would? All right, I'm gonna look who.
Apparently there were 18 drafts of the script, because the first draft was too like horror like and too negative and too scary, so they kept
Dude.
getting him to rewrite it.
I would love a like a Truman Show reboot where it's just like incredibly dark and Truman just like murders every single person that like had been lying to him,
But
and like he
something I
never
do
leaves. He just
like,
kills everybody.
I think perhaps one of, if not the most impressive parts about this movie, is how it is still very optimistic.
Yeah. I think for a movie where it's literally a person kidnapped in a metal dome for his entire life.
I think it's very
it's a pretty happy
optimistic.
film.
Yeah, and it's like a happy ending, and it's light and cheerful. I mean, it's not light, but I think it's cheerful, and it does such a good job of not. It would have been so easy for this movie to have been a lot darker than it was, and I love that it isn't. It feels like the entire time the movie is fighting to stay like happy, but it's not happy. It's not. I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's optimistic.
No,
I
I
think
get what
is
you're
what you have to
saying.
say.
Like when you leave this movie, you have like a good feeling
Yeah,
in your
like
body.
like you're hopeful. Yeah,
You feel optimistic for the
it's a
future.
happy ending.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I found the line that we were talking about, and it's
Oh.
Truman. There's no more truth out there for you in the world. Wait, no, I butchered it.
Look,
Cut.
you had it
literally
right in front of
reading
you.
it.
Come on, Dean.
Guys, I'm cutting this out so everyone at
No,
home thinks
it's
I did
saying
it
in.
flawless.
It's saying in. It's saying in. If it's not in, I am going to like make a freaking expose video on the highlights channel.
I would love that, to be fair.
No,
Truman,
this is gonna be
there's
the highlights. This clip right here.
Truman, there's no more truth out there than in the world I created for you, the same lies and deceit, but in my world you have nothing to fear.
That's such a good line. That's a
And-
really good line.
And then the next line he says, which is say something, damn it, you're still on camera, live to the world. And then Truman turns around and says the iconic line.
Yeah.
What do you guys think you would have done in that scenario? Like, because I feel like a part of me, if that was said to me, I'd be like, wait, should I be leaving? Like, is this? Because I mean, technically, Truman has like a paradise.
Yeah. But like it's not a paradise. It feels like a paradise. But nobody there likes you. You're a way to make money for all of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's the real thing about Christoph. You say Christoph loves him like he loves the son. But at the end, Christoph was the only person in that room willing to kill him.
Yeah.
And that's because those 10,000 days of his life have all been about Truman. And that's the center of all of it. And that's where he's making money. And that's where just that's his life. It's kind of like his Truman Show. I don't know if that's
True.
anything.
No,
But
yeah, I
like
get what you mean.
he's trapped inside this world. He's trapped inside this dome as much as Truman is.
And I think where they mentioned, like said, the sun thing, maybe that's off, and it's more like it's like Truman more or less is his art piece. And
Yeah.
if the ending of Truman is more of like, like, oh, he's afraid of the ocean, and dies in the ocean. Like he looks for like more like a meaningful exit for the character.
Yeah, no, I think you're right,
It's-
actually.
I
You're
think
right. It's more of an, but he's kind of like, I need to go further with this. I need to go more. It's like when he goes, I'm determined for this to have the first on-air conception.
right.
I think his whole character is, I think the biggest like trait about him is that he knows Truman better than anyone else. I feel like, and he does his job so well. I mean, he's committed his whole life to the job. Like he stays
Right.
there until like he probably gets like 3 hours of sleep a day because he's constantly watching over Truman. And
Mhm.
I think that, but the main thing about it is he knows Truman so well that he knows what he can and can't do, but and because of that, he's able to do like whatever he wants just for the audience. Like I don't know if you guys remember, but the scene with the dad where he meets the dad again, and Kristoff's like, "Put the music up more." Remember?
Yeah, and he's
Remember
like,
saying
and then
he's
he's like,
he's
don't cut yet,
doing
don't cut yet.
yeah, he's doing all of that for the audience. But by him knowing Truman that well, like he knows what would work and what wouldn't. So I think it was I mean, like it was a wise decision not to kill him in the ocean. Like he knew what too much was because he just knows. Like, and I'm saying, like he knew Truman would be rebellious. Like he knew he'd come out of the water. I don't know if I'm rambling right now, but I'm just
No, I get what you
No,
mean.
you're
yeah. He does
you-
everything for the audience pretty much.
where you had a consecutive thought process there. You're good.
This movie, it's the best. Another scene I really like is it's the famous Trumania bit when he's drawing on the mirror, and it's literally that's the first thing you see after the massive mental breakdown and his dad returning and everything like that, and it seems like he's completely fine. And I think as the audience, you're disappointed by this, obviously, because you're like Truman, you were so close. But then when he escapes and everyone's searching for him, I then like switch and then I feel worried for the people working on the set for some reason. I'm now like, oh no, what if they can't find him and they lose their jobs?
They deserve to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
You think so?
Oh yeah,
I think the only person that deserves to lose their job.
maybe not like the lower level workers on the show, but like the people who watched over him, who did like the controlled the waves and stuff, and like what or
His
whatever.
wife.
Oh,
Mm.
she deserves, and his best friend. The line that hurts the most in that entire movie is the last thing I would ever do is lie to you.
Yeah, and I
And
really
he
like the
wasn't even
performance there.
saying that originally.
Yeah,
The person was Christoph was feeding him those lines.
and the thing, it kind of feels like he struggled to say it for a moment there, and I really appreciated the performance in there.
Yeah.
If I'm okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate right here. Let's say, you know, they were his best friends there. Like he was his best friend his entire life. When, what was the name of the best friend? Do we know? Or we
What
just
do you
call him
mean?
best friend?
He was. Let me find out for you.
Marlon. Marlon.
Yeah.
Ah. When Marlon was saying that, I think, you know, Marlon has been with Truman his entire life, and all he really knows is Truman. So, like, I don't think he's necessarily a bad guy because it's just kind of his. Although Truman doesn't know he's in the show, and that's his life. This is kind of Marlon's life too,
Yeah.
right? Is that a hot take?
Yeah,
Oh, I
it
get
makes
that.
sense. I think it's pretty possible that he actually formulated a real friendship with Truman.
Yeah.
But it's just how none of what he said was actual. Like
Yeah. I think the
he was being
wife is
fed all of
worse
it.
because
Yeah.
she seemed like she didn't care, and like he
Yeah.
could tell that, and that's the thing. I feel like he could still tell that his wife didn't actually care about him, and obviously he doesn't know there's this big scheme. And there's also this whole issue with her being prostituted, pretty much.
Oh. Yeah, but who likes to think about it that way? I don't
She
like
kind of is,
thinking
though,
that.
isn't she?
In
Yeah.
a sense. But I think there's the about the wife, like why she was so terrible is just because like she never like actually like listened to Truman. Like she literally just didn't care. Like through even when he wasn't figuring out stuff in the movie, like didn't they already have problems to begin with? Like wasn't he thinking about like divorcing her or something?
Well, yeah,
They already
he
had
wanted
problems.
to he was planning to escape. Well, number one, he's clearly in love with this woman who was dragged away, whatever her name is. I think it's
Lauren,
Lauren.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lauren
Um,
Garland.
and
So
obviously he's shut up. Obviously, he's sorry, that was a bit harsh. He's in love with.
tell me to shut up.
You're making me argue. We're arguing in front of the guest, Harlan. Okay. um, so obviously there's an issue
Disappointing.
because he loves Lauren, well, and he's making a picture of her, which is creepy, and and that's an issue in its own. But then there's the whole thing with him wanting to go to Fiji and not telling her that he's going.
I think there definitely are some like, you know, I think from the beginning of the movie, not necessarily he knew what was happening, but he wanted to leave. I think that's
Yeah.
kind of
I think obviously he didn't know what was happening, but I think he knew that his wife didn't love him.
Yeah. That's why I was saying like I'm pretty sure like even like when they had problems like Truman had a feeling like
Yeah.
she didn't care for him like at all.
It's also just her, product placement. She was not
Yeah.
very good at that.
Oh my god. All free cocoa beans.
Truman never really cared for her either. Like I think it was all set up by, Marlon and
Yeah,
Truman's
but
mom
did
and like
he?
everything.
No, he didn't. We know he never cared for her because we saw the first time they met, and he was still staring at who was Sylvie at the time.
Sylvie? Oh my
Sylvie.
god.
Sylvie is the name of Lauren's character when she was on the show.
Dude. Oh my god.
Oh
I
yeah.
did not know that the Truman Show was in Loki.
Wait, or is it? It might be Sylvia, or maybe I'm just Lokiing this place up.
I think it's Sylvia.
I'm
Yeah.
just let me look.
Sylvia. So you're wrong.
Yeah.
It's just my English accent. That's not how we say it over here.
Interesting.
He got us again, Kallen.
God, those
It's-
Brits are so annoying.
Well, imagine not having Fruity Pebbles HBO Max or Hulu. Skadoosh. I win.
Well,
Don't even
fruity pebbles sound gross.
don't mention our healthcare system.
Alan, what is your verdict on fruity pebbles? Because they sound gross to me.
I have
Oh, they're not
had
that good.
them.
They're
I've
fine.
had them once in my life, and they
And
were
what did you think?
they were good.
No,
Yeah, they're good.
no, that's not what you were supposed to say. I was gonna. I was messaging him before we started, going, okay, when I bring up fruity pebbles,
You suck. You tried to try and control the narrative, huh? Is that what we're going with?
So manipulative.
I
Did I
know.
just say the word? No, manipulative.
You
Yeah.
got it.
guys,
You got it.
Callan, you're supposed to sit here awkwardly while we argue. Don't side with Harlan, okay?
Oh, sorry.
Wait, what did you text Callan? What did you
I
try to
didn't
do,
text him
Dean?
anything. It was a joke.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would
Jesus,
have been
Marlon.
it would have been really funny if you did.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it for our next guest. I'm gonna be like, by the way, when I bring up fruity pebbles, just vomit. I feel like Harlan is working for the Truman Show, and he's just gonna keep looking at the camera and go, "Fruity Pebbles, the best cereal I've ever had."
And I just like take out a box. I know from now on, when we do this podcast, I'm going to have a box of Fruity Pebbles on standby. Or should I just be
One day.
eating Fruity Pebbles every time we do this podcast? Wait, do you have
That'd be
Cinnamon Toast
amazing.
Crunch? Do you have Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
No.
Oh my god!
He's gone. Where's he gone?
You don't have Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
It might be under a different name. Let me Google this. Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
You're very angry about that, man. Jesus.
Oh, we should stop talking about cereal. No, I've never. What
Dude,
even is it? Your cereal
Cinnamon
is gross
Crunch
anyway.
is so good. It's like a staple in every American household for when it comes to sugary cereal.
Yeah, but like we don't have. No, we do have sugary cereal. That's a lie. Just we don't have as sugary cereal as you.
What's like the
Losers.
most sugary cereal you guys have in Britain?
Well, you can get Lucky Charms and stuff, but they're not in every supermarket, and they're a rare thing.
You get like Honey
Like
Nut
we have
Cheerios.
we have. Pardon? Do we
Pardon?
have what?
What?
What did you say?
We what did you say?
What did you say?
Puddin.
Puddin? Puddin?
Wait, I didn't say pardon.
What did you say?
I
You
didn't
said
say
that.
anything. What did I? Roll back the tape, okay? Everyone,
We have what?
everyone listening at home, I'm gonna play whatever I just said, just to prove to everyone that I didn't say anything wrong. Okay, here's the gap.
Clip it, chat.
You get like Honey
Like
Nut Cheerios.
we have. Pardon. Hi guys, it's Dean in my editing booth, which is actually just my garden. I rolled back the tape, and it does sound like I'm saying pardon, but I'm not saying pardon. I'm saying pardon, as in I didn't hear you, because I'm a posh English boy, and I say pardon weirdly, which I have been mocked for quite a bit in my past. So I'm just going to play that one more time, and then we can get back to the episode. So here's that again.
You get like Honey
Like
Nut
we
Cheerios.
have pardon.
Okay, what?
We do you know, like we just have quite plain cereal, but not plain, just less sugary.
Shreddies?
Yeah, I Shreddies is what
Crispix?
I eat.
Weetabix banana?
Weetabix
Weetabix?
is good stuff.
Cocoa Pops?
Cocoa Pops is probably as sugary as it's gonna get.
See, we have Cocoa Puffs.
I think that's probably the same thing. I can
It is
buy
the exact
Fruity
same-
Pebbles
Wait, no, it's not.
online. Should I buy some?
Wait, hold on a second.
Shreddies.
Shreddies, yeah. That's what I had for breakfast this morning.
It kind of looks like Cocoa Pops is like basically like Cocoa Pebbles.
Stop calling things pebbles, you freaks.
Wait, no, it's not Cocoa. Wait,
I've got a
isn't it?
question. How much fruit is in Fruity Pebbles?
0. There is no
Probably
fruit in Cocoa
0.
Pebbles.
I'm looking at it. I can buy some.
Don't get Cinnamon Toast Crunch instead.
I've never had Cinnamon Toast Crunch, actually. I'm sorry.
What?
Gonna be-
My God, you guys are killing me. You guys are killing me.
You're taking this too far. This is not a joke.
Okay, but you have frosted wheats, right? You got mini wheats.
Me,
Yeah, you.
frosted wheats. Probably, but you like to call cereal stupid things.
No, Kellogg frosted. Yeah, you guys got those.
You
said you guys.
Brits have no room to talk when you're like, your slang is just like the most awful
Yeah.
thing.
You know what
Crisp.
apples and
ever heard.
pears means?
What?
Apples and pears means up the stairs.
What? Why?
Have you heard of, is peng a UK thing?
I've heard of it before.
Peng is something that's like, I don't understand, honestly. Peak is UK slang, and it means something is very bad, and I thought it meant something very good for the longest time.
Okay, yeah, that's stupid, and I'm glad you agree that's stupid. His peak
Yeah.
is like
Exactly. This is what I'm saying.
when you
Oh,
peak in high
honestly.
school, you're like,
Honestly, the people who use the dumb slang are people who sound a lot
like
more.
Brits.
I can do impression. Go on, give me. They're like, "Oi, mate, what's going on? I'm from London town, and
Oh,
I
like-
don't pronounce any
Cockney?
letters." Yeah, Cockney kind of.
Oh, so Cockney people.
But you
are
know,
stupid.
literally
what you're saying?
in England, you will literally go from one town to the next, and they will have different accents. The town
Really?
next to me sound different to us.
Well, I guess that's kind of similar to, in like the USA, but it's kind of more like region based. Like if you're from New York, you have a New York accent. If you're from Chicago, I can't do it. But
What if you're from Italy?
No, don't do this again.
the pizza pie? It's the meatball. Oui, oui.
Anyway, something Truman Show. Closing thoughts.
Um,
Should we rate the Truman Show?
Yeah, on
Yeah.
a scale of 1 to 10, oh, go on. So you go first, and then we can pass it around.
Who's going first, Callan or
Who
me?
I don't care.
Okay,
You.
guess me. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give it. Okay, I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10, just because other movies have left bigger impressions on me.
Okay.
My fist is gonna leave a big
But with the
impression
movie
on you.
itself, objectively, the movie itself, how would you give it out of 10? Not
Well,
the
we're
effect it
thinking-
gave you.
Yeah, we're gonna. I feel like Callan and I are on the same wavelength here.
Okay. Well, try Cinnamon Toast Crunch and then get back to me. Fine. I guess.
That's why we're on the same
I
wavelength.
guess a
Neither of us
10
have
out
had
of
it.
10 if we're doing objectively, but subjectively 9.5.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Okay.
But, yeah, I'd give it an easy 10. I mean, I have one flaw with the entire movie, and it's like a nitpick, like a common sense thing.
Right.
No questions
That's it.
asked. No questions asked. 10 out of 10 for me.
Wait, why is it a 10 out of 10?
I literally said no questions asked. Were you not
I know.
listening?
That's the reason I wasn't going to ask you, but now I need to know why you give it a 10 out of
Because
10.
I just think it's a perfect movie, and Jim Carrey is just the man I want being an actor. My opinion on him as a person is undefined.
Okay. I asked my question, so now I ruined your whole thing.
You just
So now I'm content.
we need to like try.
Have some
We need.
therapy.
I feel like no. I feel like
Couples therapy.
we show our affection for each other through just being ruthless. But I like the idea of us doing couples therapy live.
That would be amazing. I'd watch that.
We live stream our couples therapy.
Well, Mr. Therapist, he just showed up an hour late. I don't know what to tell you.
Wow, bold of you to assume the therapist is a man. Alan, do you want to plug your stuff?
I guess. Yeah, my TikTok is just king_Kallen, Kallen. If you want to go follow that.
Go
I have a
follow
YouTube
that.
as well, but I don't really upload on that, so I don't really see
He
the point
doesn't
in
upload on
subscribing.
that.
I do not. Thank you
I'm
for.
being your hype man, just to get more.
That's pretty much it. That's really my main social media presence. I have an
This
Instagram,
guy-
but I'm not telling you guys that because I don't want you guys looking at me.
Yeah, I mean, you've got enough reason to go and follow this guy because his favorite movie is The Truman Show because, of course, he's got taste. Anyway, next week we're doing talking about bad movie, and I believe the bad movie we're talking about, I think we said Suicide Squad. Anyway, thank you for listening. All our links are down below as usual. I'm Dean's _beans on TikTok. This fella here is Fluffy Duffy, i.e.
I.e. All right.
on TikTok, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.